I know, the title of the video was probably a bit of a spook. After all, top 5s and 10s haven't been cool since 2015. But call me Unk and send me to Congress because I'm old enough to still enjoy them. But hey, spooks are what we want, right? After all, I only have like 2 days to edit this before Halloween is already passed, so why am I still yapping in this intro? Let's dive in. Something to keep in mind, these are my personal favorites, not objectively the best. Now let's dive in. Let's get this one out of the way because it's honestly probably among everyone's first guesses when someone brings up good spooky games. That'll be Doki Doki Literature Club. This game absolutely destroyed YouTube as everyone tried it for the first time back in the day. Add in some secret lore in the game files for MatPat to run through and boom, perfect recipe for a horror game. Doki is just one of those games that I think basically everyone needs to try at least once, except maybe my mom. Don't want her seeing those sus Yuri dialogues. But even my anti-anime, anti-gamer friends were invested in this game. No twist has ever hit harder than gently opening the door for the first time. Literally about as hard as my first kiss. That image is burned into my memory. But yeah, I usually host spooky game nights with all my friends where we hook a laptop up to the TV and watch everyone take turns trying new horror games while we argue who's getting the mousepad sweatier. I will say, if you have not played it, I recommend trying the original version. The file changes and whatnot are a lot cooler than in DDLC Plus. After you've beat it once, if you crave the extra content, then try the Plus version. Now here's a bit of a deep cut, a game called Eternal Darkness. Those internet historians among you might recognize it, but I don't blame you if you've never heard of this. Why? Because it's pretty frickin' expensive to find and also on a GameCube. Luckily, my brother had a connection with a game store and we were able to get a copy. I don't have a ton of personal experience with this one, but it implements a system that I absolutely love and hope to see more of in the future. This game would pretend to turn your volume down, fake delete your save data, and all sorts of other things. Can you imagine a game that does that in the modern era? Would be such a goofy troll, but also low-key terrifying at the same time. Imagine if a game starts playing a Discord ping sound effect, fake Steam invites from your friends, or even makes you disrupt its own code to bug itself up. What makes things scary? Monsters, gore, pretty ladies that I don't know how to talk to, the shrinking middle class. All good answers, but I think we can all agree that usually the horror in horror games comes less from what's on the screen and more from what isn't. Fear of the unknown is what pushes us to be scared. The less we know about something, usually the spookier it gets. Why am I being all psychological? Well, first it's me complaining about why Stranger Things gets less spooky every season because the monsters are less mysterious, but really, it's because of the next game on the list. Outlast, specifically the first 2 or so hours. I went into this game completely blind. Usually during spooky game nights with the homies, I wasn't really scared and would be called up when we wanted to move forward with the game because everyone else was too nervous to get to the next part. But Outlast? I was nail-biting just as hard as everyone else. In fact, I'd go as far as to say the opening parts of Outlast are probably the most scared I have ever been in a horror game. Like I said, fear of the unknown is really the engine of horror games, and when you have zero clue what the spooky game is about, that means everything is on the table. There aren't features I know won't show up, there aren't jump scares I know won't happen, because I literally have no clue. I was on the edge of my seat sweating like Tyler 1, and man, if you ever see a little tooltip that says press E to look behind you while sprinting, the sinking feeling is unforgettable. If a game tells you to look behind you while running, you better start running. Few names are as iconic in horror games as the SCP franchise. Fandom? I'm not sure what to call it. As I mentioned, I'm a bit of an unk, so my SCP game of choice is Containment Breach, despite newer games having come out since. Don't worry though, I'm a cutting edge unk, so the official entry for number 2 is actually going to be SCP Lab Rat. It's a VR port of Containment Breach. And for those of you who have tried virtual reality, you know that it makes everything scarier. Even games that are not meant to be scary become scary. Something about actually being in the game environment just turns your flight or flight responses a lot higher than flat screen games. I'll be honest, SCP Lab Rat is a game that I just can't play alone. I'm pretty resistant to spooky games, but this one just cannot be endured without a couple buddies. I need moral support of at least a person or two watching and laughing at me to stay sane. It's also free, give it a try if you have the setup, and if you don't have a VR, just try good old Containment Breach. I also probably don't have footage from the VR one because I'm too scared to record it. Alright, it's been a good journey, this list. We have games that make you change the files, games that confuse you, games that mess with your system to trick you. So what could number 1 possibly be? A combination of all of those, of course. Though, before I announce our winner, I'd like to give an honorable mention to any online game when my tryhard friend is spectating me. Scary stuff right there. Anyway, enough fanfare. This is literally a top 5 list, not the Oscars. I'm Scared is my favorite horror game. The best way I could describe it is like retro Doki Doki. Same sort of vibe, but a bit less polished and crusty old style feel. I'm Scared is a bit scuffed, but that works in its favor. After all, more vague, more confusing does nothing but be more scary. I'm Scared does my favorite thing horror games can do, mess with you and your device. I'm Scared has you looking in its files for secret links to YouTube videos, riddles, and even ASCII art maps. It'll fake crash and real crash. The game literally blows itself up every once in a while and even has some scares when you relaunch it. This game isn't really scary in the traditional jump scare sense, though there are some moments like that. It's more of a story and vibe-based slow burn that has you feeling really uneasy as you go about the whole thing. I seriously felt like my computer was actually haunted by the time I beat this game, like legit haunted, such an interesting experience. Even after I uninstalled it, I still felt like my system was a little bit never the same since. And that's the top 5, but I won't lie, I actually wanted to do a top 10, I just didn't have time, so let's just do a really quick lightning round of some other games I just totally love. We've got Into the Radius, an extraction solo VR shooter that has some of the most vibey, moody settings I've ever seen. FNAF Help Wanted, another VR game that's just totally terrifying, I just didn't want to put 2 VR games on the same list. It Steals, a game that actually makes you look at the monster in order to avoid it, and also the Castlevania games, but those aren't really horror games, they're just kind of spooky vibes. And of course, How Could I Get the Forest, the game that actually lets you eat the spooky enemies. Aw man, good to get some revenge there. Alright guys, and there's some of my favorite spooky games. I edited this entire video in one 8-hour sitting, so if you're impressed by that, please subscribe and like and share, and apparently there's a hype button, so I guess you can hit that too. But whether you subscribe or not, that's totally fine, I don't really care. As long as you're happy, I'm happy. Big thanks to our channel members, Rex and Frog Wizard. You guys are the absolute goats. Go ahead and become a channel member if you guys would like. Join the Discord as well. It's full of chill, happy, awesome people who are very friendly and fun to be around. Since I made this video on a single day, my other video hasn't gone public yet, which means I don't have the comments from that to put at the end of this video. If you answer the question in this video, though, you'll be able to have your answers be put at the end of the next video. My question for you today should be pretty obvious. What is your favorite horror game? Well, guys, that's enough of me. I need to go to bed. The sun's about to rise. Taco out. Talk out. Why are you still here? Why am I still here? Because I need to make sure this video gets above 8 minutes. Duh. Alright, now go to bed.